I'm Madeline, editor of QCity Metro, and today I'm sitting with Miss Kathy Rogers, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about Mental Health America of Central Carolinas.
Right. Well, it's so great to be with you, Madeline, and thank you for being with us today in this amazing space, which you're going to learn more about. But just a little bit about Mental Health America of Central Carolinas, which we kind of shortened to MHA because it is a long name. We're celebrating our 90th anniversary this year.
That's
We've
awesome.
been serving the greater Charlotte area for 90 years. Started out as the Mecklenburg Mental Hygiene Society, which really was how the whole movement around mental health and how we treat people with a mental health diagnosis started in this country. But we're going to talk about access to counseling for marginalized communities today, but also MHA does a lot of other things as well. We do a lot of mental health education, which includes a lot of suicide prevention training. We are losing too many people to suicide every day, and we want to do what we can to educate folks about how they can respond to someone who may be thinking about suicide. And these aren't clinicians. Everyday people need to learn these skills. So we're teaching those classes every week. We also have a program called Parent Voice, which serves parents and caregivers who may be raising a child with a mental health diagnosis or a behavioral health issue. The thing that I have learned during my time here is how hard this system is to navigate. So a lot of times parents and caregivers just need an advocate to help them navigate the school system, the justice system, the mental health care system. So we have folks that can do that for those people. And then we have a program called Compere, which matches adults who are living with a mental health diagnosis with a friend, because we know that people who are dealing with maybe chronic depression, bipolar disorder, often live in loneliness and isolation.
Right.
So we want to do what we can to help alleviate that loneliness. And this program has great outcomes. People experience better health outcomes. They feel better overall about their mental health. So that's a great program that we have, but really the most exciting thing we've had started was in January. We opened this mental health counseling center to expand access to resources in our community.
Okay, so you mentioned you guys are going into your 90th year. This is clearly not a 90-year-old space. It's very modern and fresh. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so the space that we are actually sitting in was my office.
Oh, wow.
And during the pandemic, I was really the only one coming in to the office regularly, and I'm kind of sitting here by myself, and we've all changed the way that we work.
Yes.
We know that people can work a hybrid or remotely. For us, we just want people to be out in the community now doing their work, but wherever they want their office can be at home. So in order to better serve the community, we got American Rescue Plan funds from Mecklenburg County, which included money to renovate this space and turn it into this beautiful trauma-informed space to provide free counseling for people in our community. And you're going to meet Megan Bryant, our amazing clinical director, in a minute, and she can tell you all about the great work that they're doing here and how we're working with interns to provide them with a really hands-on experience and getting some great supervision from Megan. So it's been, I'm just really proud of the work that we're doing and kind of taking this next step to really serve those historically marginalized communities who often stigma may keep them from getting help, but also the cost of counseling. You may have seen billboards out in the community with Steve Smith, with Alma Adams, and others on the billboards. In addition to opening the counseling center, we launched a major marketing campaign geared toward Black and brown communities, again, to say we're here to help you, your mental health matters, and to make sure that people see that people just like you and I get therapy all the time. And there's no shame or blame in that.
Yeah, I believe that therapy is a luxury. Everyone should have access to it. It's not something to be ashamed of.
That's right.
But yeah, but thank you so much,
Yeah,
Kathy. I'm excited to talk more with your team and learn about the work that you're doing.
That's great. Yeah. Thank you so much, Madeline. We really appreciate it.
Okay, and now I'm sitting with Megan Bryant. She is a licensed clinical mental health counselor, and she's also the clinical director here at MHA's Counseling Center. So tell me a little bit about what you do here.
So I currently supervise or clinically supervise students from both Johnson C. Smith and UNC Charlotte who are currently in that MSW program.
Okay. And that's Masters of Social Work, right? Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. So what year are they usually in that program, and what does their work look like here?
Because this is our first cohort of interns that we just finished. We had both first year students as well as second year or advanced program students.
And do they work directly with clients, or do they shadow you, or a little bit of both?
So both. I would say when we first started, because this was a brand new program, came in establishing, both the policies and procedures for the program, as well as collaborating with local organizations. We did more like case studies, mock sessions to get started. Once the Counseling Center opened in January, that's when they began to work with clients. So individual sessions and family sessions at times.
Okay, what do some of your clients look like here? Like, what is your population like?
So 75% of our clients are uninsured or underinsured. Okay. 80% of those are people of color.
So I know you mentioned earlier we talked about resources for the community and making sure that Black and brown people feel included and that they have a space here. As we think about historically disadvantaged or marginalized communities, we think about barriers to mental health. What do some of those barriers look or feel like?
Just the stigma. Not being comfortable, or open up with individuals who don't look like them. Right. So that's very tough. Also, accessibility of care is difficult. That's why the center is so important, because we provide those services for free. We have a $10 admin fee, but that's not required. If individuals say, hey, I can't pay that, it's just like, okay, cool, come on in.
So earlier you mentioned one of the barriers for sometimes people of color wanting to access therapy is not having a therapist that looks like them or that represents their community. What's the difference of coming to have services done here?
So one of the goals, if I can just fast forward a little bit, it's just the goals of the Counseling Center is really to increase the pipeline of clinicians of color. So that's our thing. I'm looking for individuals. If this is the audience or the target population, we are seeking individuals who are Black and brown. So that's why we partner with Johnson C. Smith, as well as UNC Charlotte. I don't want to say, hey, that's a requirement, but that is something that we are looking for.
Okay.
Just for individuals to come in and be more comfortable. For someone to say, hey, you get it. Not a textbook version, but someone who can actually say, I get it and I have these lived experiences and I can relate to them.
What has that reaction or feedback been from some of your clients?
Really good. It's just like, okay, for one, they're nervous about coming in. I mean, we've all had that feeling of just like, hey, I don't know what to expect. And to come in and just be, I could see a sigh of relief, like, okay, even if it's the older population, they're looking at them like they're grandkids, but that's okay too, just to have someone that they can talk to.
That's awesome. Yeah. How do people get connected to MHA, to the Counseling Center here?
So we have, I know Kathy's mentioned the billboards all around. Also, I'm on a commercial.
We'll have to look out for that commercial.
And so we also have a website, and you can call or come in. So we've had individuals who walk in to the center randomly and say, hey, I need services. And if the clinicians or our interns aren't seeing anyone, we're pulling them in right away just to find out what's going on.
Okay. So just so I understand, so the services are free.
Yes.
People can walk in so they can self-refer.
Yes.
Do they have to have any sort of diagnosis, or is there any other criteria that they have to be serviced here?
No, just Mecklenburg County residents.
Wow.
And if they are insured, a lot of times the insurance doesn't cover, or if their copay is too high, but that's really the only requirements.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what makes MHA unique?
So not only do we have interns providing that service, we also, if individuals come in with any other needs, not only wanting or seeking therapy, they may come in needing transportation or childcare or unemployed. So prior to us opening, we went out and just connected with other organizations in the area for job development, or maybe, so that's what we're referring them to. Whatever that need is, we're doing a complete wraparound of services. If we cannot see the individual here at the counseling center, we do refer out. So if it is more, severe cases or more complex cases, then we are linking them to other providers in the area. We do give, like, individuals or anyone that comes in will leave with something.
Okay.
So if they say, hey, I want to come to the counseling center, but we cannot provide that service for them, we providing to psychiatrists in the area for medication management, or outpatient providers, or sometimes hospitalization if the crisis is just so severe. I've also offered at times to follow a client to the hospital if it's that severe. I'm just like, okay, I'll sit with you and wait in the hospital.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to the internship program a little bit. So this placement is probably a little more unique because they're actually interfacing with clients, right?
Yes.
So what's the process to get them to that point?
Yeah. So prior to them seeing clients, we give them a little orientation. During that time, we are providing trainings. Trainings could be from trauma-informed trainings, crisis prevention, discussing like de-escalation, also some case management. So as part of that training, documentation. And then the following week, they'll do mock sessions.
Okay.
So, some of them have never even picked up a DSM. So we're going to do that. We're going to practice a little bit and go over treatment plans and the full diagnosis, and just diving into that a little bit more.
Do you find that it can be intimidating for them in the beginning? And if so, how do you guys kind of help them prepare?
Absolutely. And so I am always providing real life scenarios of things that I went through in my internship. I always say, it wasn't the other day, that I did this, but I felt like my internship provided me with adequate resources and just the support that I needed. So I was kind of thrown in the fire, so I'm trying to ease it, and help them out a little bit, and even offer to be in those first sessions with them with the permission of the clients, but just being in there and supporting them. We have weekly supervision, sometimes way more. I like to have it less informal here, so that if they have any questions, they don't have to schedule to see me. They just come on in and ask, or if they have any other topics or any interventions that they run by me. But I'm always very supportive and hands-on. I'm always hands-on with the individuals.
So what if the concern is not necessarily for me, but if it's for a loved one? Do you guys have resources or something I can do to support that person, or what does that look like?
Yes, so we are always talking with our clients about natural supports and the importance of having family and friends or community behind them, backing them up during this journey. So yes, we provide family members, friends, information. If they call, we have tons of calls where it's just like, hey, I have a loved one who is in need of services. What can I do? First step is, if they're in a crisis, we give them 988 number, or tell them about the local hospital. And also we just say, hey, have them call, or you come in with them, you assist them, let them know it's okay to not be okay. But the first step is to seeking help.
And what is the 988 number?
It's the suicide hotline.
Okay, and people can call that for themselves, or can they call if they have a concern about someone else?
Yep, they can call.
Okay.
It actually just celebrated its 1-year anniversary, so it's really neat. Yeah.
Okay, do you have any parting words or a final thought?
Just always remember, your mental health matters. Here at MHA, we are, again, open Monday through Thursday from 9 to 4. We take scheduled appointments as well as walk-ins.
Okay. Thank you so much
Thank
for talking
you.
with us today.